Welcome to Winter Storm 2025. I've got some tips and some things that I'm going to change a little bit this year, just in case we get this again. We don't normally get this much ice, and we also are getting snow tomorrow, 3 to 5 inches, and we don't usually get that much. Last year, I don't think we even got hardly maybe a dusting of snow, and then it was gone like the next day or two. This is going to be hanging around for a while because we are in the 30s and down into the 20s for a good week or so. While it is beautiful, it sparkles in the trees, and it is beautiful to look outside and see some of the snow that had already accumulated with the first storm. It's kind of a pain. So I do have some things set in place for winter, but there are some things that I'm going to change. The garden is pretty good. I have it winterized. I already had, I don't have anything growing in here. Pepper's after something. I'm not sure what she sees, but this is pretty good because I had all my leaves mulched and that's all covered. So this is put to bed for winter. So this is pretty good. The compost, and I didn't get that cleaned off, but that'll be a spring project or maybe when it thaws. But I did get all the loofahs, so that's good. I'm kind of glad that I didn't have the caterpillar done yet because I don't think I would have had it ready for this kind of ice and things. So I am gonna get some more, some metal and bend it and use it for the ribs. So hopefully that will hold up better and the plastic will hold up because it is literally laying out on the ground right now. So hopefully it doesn't tear it up with this cold and everything like that. But some of the things I'm gonna change. We lost power because it's just, we live out in the country. And there's lots of trees and limbs and things that fall on the power lines, and they just had a mess to clean up. We do have a generator that we use, and that actually kept my animals' water from freezing, which was one of my main concerns because while we didn't have power, I didn't want to have to go outside and either carry water or bust ice. So because it was going to freeze pretty fast. So we do have that generator. Our house is pretty well insulated, so it didn't get down. It got down into the 50s, maybe the 40s. I'm not really sure. But it was not super bad. So it was livable. Like it was okay. We had power inside with some power cords, so we were able to cook on different things and make coffee and hot water and stuff like that. So it was good. So one of the things I am going to change about that, I am looking into a wood burner, something that we have wanted for years, actually since we moved here over 20 years ago. We just never have done it, pulled the trigger on it. Well, that is one thing that I would like to really have, because if this happens again, we will have heat. I will have something to cook on that is super easy to use. I don't have to worry about electricity, and that would be one thing that we wouldn't have to hook up to the generator. Now, one of the other things is I'm going to be researching on how to actually hook a regular generator up to your house and to run a few things, not everything. It's not a whole house generator. Those are kind of pricey. We looked at those as a possibility maybe, but right now the wood burner stove and maybe modifying the generator or something like that is more of a budget item than a whole house generator. Not something to completely take off the table, but something that we are just not going to do right now. Now, one of my other things that I did do well was I did have plenty of feed. So I did make sure that I didn't run out of feed. And by doing that, I just keep my feed barrels full. I buy 2 bags at a time for the barn. Actually, a neighbor buys it by the ton, which I'm going to look into, and just puts it in barrels. But it's just good not to, I just don't let it get down very low, period, any time throughout the year if I can help it. Because it never fails. You got to have feed during a busy time, or you've got something. It's just that's just when it happens. So that is one thing that I am I've been good about this winter is keeping enough feed and everything like that. We've got plenty of hay. The one thing that I will change is water. So I have 2 heaters out there at the barn, and it is keeping the water completely it's completely liquid. It's not frozen. It's great. They're working wonderful. I didn't know if they would work because they're pulling off of one cord, and but they're working great. But the only thing is, the hose that I thought I drained out must have not drained out very good because I tried to fill up the trough yesterday and that didn't work. So I knew I had like one chance because once I do that, I'm not going to be able to actually pull that hose up off the ground because it's frozen to the ground and empty it out. That would have been, I mean, I might have been able to, I probably would have tried, but there was a good chance that that wasn't going to happen. So I thought I had drained the hose out. It looked like it had drained out before this all came, but apparently that was not the case because I tried to fill the trough up and it didn't work. So that's going to be something that I'm going to have to think about. If you have any tips for that, please leave them below. I'm about 250, 300 feet from the barn, so I have like 3 or so hoses hooked up, and it works really great when it's not frozen and I have that float on. It keeps that trough filled up all the time, and that worked out wonderful this summer. But when it's frozen, I did not drain that hose out very good. And yeah, I guess I should have checked that a little bit better. I don't know. We'll see if some of it melts off, which I'm not really sure that's going to happen because we're getting snow tomorrow. I might be able to take the hoses apart and test each one to see, but I did that before and it was running. So I don't know. We'll see. The other thing would be to put a spigot out there. That would be wonderful. My husband doesn't really want to put a spigot out there. I'm not really sure how much that would cost. So I'll have to be maybe looking into that. So something else I decided that I'm going to organize is I'm going to get a tote, and it's going to be like a power outage tote. It can be used other times, but mainly in the winter, I would say. But during storms or whatever, if we need power, or if we need light or anything like that. So I think I'm going to put like battery lanterns. I'm going to get some battery lanterns, things like that, and put in the tote. Batteries, maybe some matches or some lighters, and put those in there. I'm not going to put the lamp oil in there. I do have kerosene lamps, and we used those, and I did buy lamp oil before winter, so I did have that on hand. I had bought new wicks and stuff like that too, and so we had those, and we did use those quite a bit. And then my husband plugged in, after we got the generator going, plugged in a lamp that we have downstairs into the power strip, and that worked out great. So it's just moving stuff around and kind of making do. The house looks like a mess. We've got cords everywhere still, just in case this snow weighs down the trees and snaps some more lines. We want to be ready and not have to drag everything else out again. But I am going to make, I think, a power outage tote. Going to put some stuff in there. I've got a 2-burner electric plate that we used to take camping. We don't have a camper right now, so it was just been in the barn hanging out, so I'm just going to put that in there as well. I'd used it and it was great. Okay, so the other thing I did pretty good on was food for us. I really didn't have to go get a whole lot, and with the snow coming tomorrow, the stores are probably crazy today, so I'm not going to go today. We have plenty of food. Actually, we still have food from last time I got it, but I have lots of canned things, so we have lots of things in the freezer, which are good because, it's freezing cold outside. Oh, it's way cold. And so the freezers did fine in the garage because it was so cold outside. But we have plenty of frozen food. We have plenty of things that I buy in bulk. And I always keep plenty of sugar and flour and stuff like that, which are not necessities right now. But I do have canned meat, and I've got beans and just, all kinds of stuff canned. So we're good on that. So I did good on that. So I did good for the food all around. Good for food for us and good food for the animals as well. So I have been actually canning in January. I'm trying to do Canuary. This power outage kind of messed me up a little bit. I canned 4 things on Sunday. I had to finish the other one last night because the power went out on me, but I am behind a little bit. So I'm going to figure out some more things. Our youngest son actually mentioned to me about canning meals, and I was like, well, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I actually had that on my list, so I'm gonna look some of those up, and I'm hoping to maybe share those, not every day what I'm doing, but maybe just what I have been maybe sharing the recipes of where I found them, because I think it's pretty interesting. What else are you gonna do in January? You can can up some stuff and get some other stuff prepared, so before that crazy season of spring and summer come in. I know it's going to be crazy, and I don't can a whole lot during that time. I usually wait till fall, and definitely going to start doing this again in the winter as long as we have power. So let me know if you have any tips, if there's some things that you do to prepare for winter, if you get storms and things like that. share them below. Everybody loves to learn from each other, so be sure to share in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe, and don't forget to be lovely lights today.